on your mittens and your coat.
Go out and rock the boat!
Get there by car or bus or boat.
Go out and rock the boat!
Email your friends from coast to coast.
Go out and rock the boat!
It's coming down. The next 4 years are up to you.
9 billion names of pod.
From Atlanta.
Where we just had visits from Obama and Oprah. Jealous?
It's the 9 billion names of pod with Dan Bauman and Michael Reed. I'm Dan Bauman.
I'm Vody McVoderson.
So let's talk about some stuff.
Vote.
Yeah. Yeah, I know a lot of people who at least tried to get Obama tickets, and I was like, I'm not even going to bother because I'll never get there. I would have had to been. He talked at Morehouse College, I believe.
I am not sure where he
I believe it was Morehouse College.
He could have filled Phillips, or what's it called now?
State Farm.
State Farm. Whatever.
Cheetos Arena.
I know, I'm looking, the tickets just went on sale last week for ELO. Doing their first massive big tour with Jeff Lynne.
I was going to say, assuming with Jeff Lynne.
Oh,
right?
well, yeah. There's ELO 2, which happened after Jeff Lynne without him, which actually was pretty good on its own terms. It wasn't your old ELO, but it was on its own pretty nice. But he's doing a full-on ELO tour, and I looked at the venue and I went, State Farm Arena? When did we get another arena? And I looked at the address. I went, oh, but it's still on Phillips.
Oh, yeah.
So the street is still the same.
Yeah.
I wonder if it's going to become, one State Farm Boulevard or something like that.
I don't know. I doubt that. But who knows? I mean,
hey, you pay off the right people. Sure,
yeah.
We'll name it,
whatever.
Yeah. But yeah, that's concerts coming up in Atlanta that I am pumped for. I'm going to go see ELO. I like ELO.
I got to tell my drummer, my buddy Johnny, he's a huge Jeff Lynne ELO fan.
But not enough to spend $350 for floor tickets. I went with the $50 nosebleed because I don't need to see Jeff Lynne. It's not
right. You can see his hair from there at least.
Exactly. Well, like when I went and saw Steely Dan, I wanted the lawn seats at Chastain so I could relax. No one needs to see Donald Fagen that close up. Nobody.
No.
There's no choreography. There's no pyrotechnics, no visuals, no visceral sweat coming off the stage.
Right. And there's big cameras that they shoot the whole show
Exactly.
with.
So something I learned after the fact way, way back in the day. You remember when the Monkees got popular again from MTV and they reformed without Mike Nesmith and went on tour with Herman's Herbants and Gary something in the Union Gap, Gary Puckett in the Union Gap. And we were in some bad seats, and I moved over to where I could see better, but I was under an overhang, not knowing that if I had stepped, I found this out after the fact, if I had stepped forward maybe 3 feet, I would have seen the massive screen that was showing everything that I was squinting at. Well, I was a little kid.
Oh, right.
I had no idea what was going on. So the big screens, very nice. That's a gig I'd love to have. As a videographer for a show, as long as it isn't one of those static camera things, you can get a little creative.
I might be able to get you that gig. I know people. But we'll talk off air.
Okay.
We went to pardon me. We went to Phillips, the now State Farm Arena, a bunch of years ago, and we saw. Courtney's mom had called us and said, "Oh, I've got tickets to Bon Jovi. Would you want to go see it?" And she's like, "You don't like Bon Jovi?" I was like, I like them well enough. They put on an amazing show. I've seen them years ago.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they really do put on a good...
Same thing for me with Kiss. I went and saw Kiss. I mean, there's probably, I'd say a half a dozen to maybe 10 great songs.
Yeah.
Not enough to make me go and spend all the money to see a show, but I got free tickets, and I went and loved it. Thought they put on a great show.
Well, the seats we got were they were as free as you can get because they were behind the stage nosebleeds. So we were, way up in the back. And
you could see all the bald patches on all the guys' heads.
Not even. I mean, we could see the stage was the size of a cassette tape from where we were sitting.
Oh, lovely.
And at some point, like when the show started, somebody tapped me on the shoulder and said, "Hey, would you guys like to move down? There's empty seats." So we moved down further where we were, same section behind the stage.
Right.
And it was great because we got down to like the second balcony or something, and they had screens up, but they were LED screens, and they were on, the image was on both sides. So we were, 30 feet from the big giant screen, and these were the most amazing LED screens I'd ever seen, because there were 4 of them, and then at times they just went together and they made one big long image, and then they stacked on top of each other in one seamless image, and they opened up like window shades.
This is the technology that made Roger Waters' last 2 tours, The Wall, and then the, for lack of a better term, the Animals tour.
Yeah.
I mean, he did like 90% of Animals.
Yep.
So amazing. The Wall was just, won't go into it, but I mean, he puts on a hell of a good show.
Yeah, we saw him last year.
But that's the thing. But my guess is ELO, much like Steely Dan, you'll see the show, but it's not going to be,
it's not going to be a big spectacular.
There's not a visual aspect to it as far as independent from the thing. They're going to show you what's on stage. They're going to rock, and you'll be fine. So
you're going to hear all the songs you want to hear.
Exactly. Now, also coming to Atlanta, I don't know if are you a Bauhaus fan at all?
Not really, no.
Yeah.
I'm
in the middle.
Well.
I'm in the middle. I'm in the middle. I know some people. Hi, Anthony. Who are absolute hardcore fanatics, like tattoo their logo on yourself fans.
Oof, yeah.
I'm in the middle. They've got some great songs. I've got probably a couple albums worth on my iPod. But Peter Murphy is doing a tour with David J. From Bauhaus. Bauhaus was a 4-piece, so this is the singer and the I want to say bass player. I think David J. was the bass player.
Okay.
And I don't know, maybe he was the guitarist. I can't remember. He played a stringed instrument. He wasn't Kevin Haskins, the drummer.
Okay, there you go.
Daniel Ash was the other guy with a guitar, and I think he might have been bass. I don't know. Anyway, they're going on a tour together, celebrating the Ruby anniversary of Bauhaus, which is, I think it's 35 years of Bauhaus. So they're going out on tour, and God bless them, they're actually playing Atlanta.
Yeah.
Unlike a band that I have been waiting, 20 years to see, to come over here and play, Massive Attack. Not only are they touring, they're touring with Elizabeth Fraser of Cocteau Twins, who has been a hermit since the, I think, mid to late 90s after the band broke up. She's done maybe a handful of shows in England, and that's it. And now she's going on tour with them. And the closest place they are playing is Washington, D.C.
Really?
They are ignoring the entire South. I mean, the most south they get is San Diego. And then you start heading east, and there's nothing all the way across the country. No Tennessee, no Florida. A lot of shows will come through, play maybe Tennessee, definitely Florida. This time, none of it.
Yeah, like several shows in Florida. Usually.
So I'm looking to, we're going to try to maybe get a group together to try to get to the D.C. show or the Chicago, or God forbid, the Detroit show. So, that's 3 possible venues at a 10-hour drive each.
Yeah.
Might be easier, cheaper, better to fly. Don't know.
Oh, it would be easier for sure.
I mean, if you fly in, do the show, fly right back out, then that'd probably be a lot easier than, trying to make the drive.
Yeah, but it's one of those things where if you've been wanting to see that for
forever. I traveled to New York just to see Blossom Dearie.
Well, yeah.
Yeah. So, and I also went to New York again to see Robin Hitchcock and when he reunited the Soft Boys.
Okay.
And then the fuckers stayed together, did an album, and came and played Atlanta twice. I'm so used to bands going, Atlanta, forget about it.
Well, it's a different place now. I mean, it's more on the map than it used to be, especially with all the movie stuff that's going on.
Okay. I mean, it's more on the map for movies, sure. But when a band announces a tour and they ignore the entire bottom third of the United States, I mean, ouch. I mean, they play the same number of dates, even more dates, in England. And that's, when there's maybe an hour and a half drive between cities.
Yeah,
They cover that area. And obviously, if you really want to cover the U.S., you can't go over for a 2-week tour.
No.
I mean, when I toured with the Beautiful South, we went to all the main cities that are on this tour, except maybe Detroit. But we also played Atlanta.
Right.
We came down. We started the tour in Atlanta. So anyway, so that's my music update. Let's talk about voting.
Ah, yes.
Voting. Folks, I cannot stress enough how important it is to vote.
Today.
I mean,
Today is when this podcast comes out.
right. If you are listening to this, we're recording this Sunday night. It will be released right around midnight-ish on Monday. So if you get this right away and this is your morning podcast to listen to, and you've registered but haven't voted yet, vote.
Vote.
Weather's supposed to be weird, vote. The lines may be long. Hey, guess what? Vote.
Vote, yeah.
This is important. I'm not going to get into the whole...
The Georgia of it all.
Well, I mean, one of the most watched governor's races, the watched, how am I saying this right? The governor's races most being touted as bellwethers, let's put it that way, is Stacey Abrams and Brian Kemp in Georgia, and Andrew Gillum, and I want to say, is it Ron DeSantis, I believe?
In Florida, right?
Yeah, that's right. It's DeSantis because Rick Scott is the current governor, but he's going to become a senator against, I can't remember the guy's name, but he's the incumbent Democrat down there.
And the Beto O'Rourke, Ted Cruz one.
Man, I tell you, if Beto O'Rourke pulls this off, that is going to strike fear into the heart of the GOP. I mean, at this point, I will be happy with a clear majority in the House. Mm-hmm. And by clear, I mean not just the 23 seats they need to gain control, but a good margin, because you've got, certain people that are representing very red states that may squeak in, and they cannot be relied upon to vote Democratic, to vote the party line, for lack of a better term, because it'll hurt them at home. So you need a good cushion. I'd be happy with 35 to 50 seats changing in the House. And the best I think I can hope for, the very, very best, is either the status quo of 49-51 in the Senate or 50-50 in the Senate. I don't think we're going to get control of the Senate. Although, wow, if we did.
I'm just after 2016, I am not hopeful of anything anymore.
Well, I tell you, people suddenly realized, oh, that's right. I didn't vote because, both parties are pretty much, horrible. And you do have a point, but there's one party that is far more horrible than the other.
Yeah.
Kids in cages, Muslim ban, voter suppression, putting rapists, allegedly, on the, or attempted rapists, I should say, on the Supreme Court. Mm-hmm. So, all of a sudden it's like, wow, my vote really does matter, because it does. Yeah. And I know it ain't cool to vote when you're, when you is a children. And I'll be the first to admit, in my 20s, I had zero. I didn't vote at all. I wasn't a voter. I didn't even think about it.
I'm trying to think of how old I was in my mid-20s when I first voted.
Yeah. Not me. It's I think I voted a couple of times, but when the 2000 election hit, a switch went off in me, that Bush v. Gore, and I became energized. Yeah. And I have not missed a single primary, general election, midterm, or anything since then.
See, I didn't even get that much. I mean, I would vote in the presidential, but I didn't get even. This was in the last few years that I've done. Last handful of years I've done every election.
I'll do runoffs. I'll do whatever, because it may come to a runoff here in Georgia, because we have a rule: the winner must get 50% of the vote, and if they don't, then it goes to a runoff. And there is an independent candidate right now.
Yeah, he's getting like 0.2%.
Well, he's getting a little bit more than that, but not much. Just very, very. It's I think you're right, actually.
That was the last poll I saw. Because they said
it was like the difference was like 49.2 to 49.4 between Kemp and Abrams. So there could be a runoff for the for the governorship of Georgia.
Yeah.
So, and I think people, having seen what has happened the last 2 years with Trump in office and then the Republicans holding him accountable for nothing.
Nothing he does, nothing he says.
Exactly.
Nothing he sparks, nothing he...
Because they're afraid to say anything because he'll get on the Twitter and give him a nickname.
Yeah.
It's almost like the playground bully that,
That's exactly what it
he
is.
hangs out at the jungle gym. And you're like, I'm not going to go over there and play on the jungle gym.
Yeah.
Because, he'll be mean to me. I'm going to, sit over there and, play tetherball. He doesn't want to do that.
Yeah.
And that's basically what it is. And I think a lot of people have seen what is, from what I understand, people are saying it bigly. I've heard this. People have said, but voter turnout is staggering.
Yeah.
In some places, voter turnout in early voting has equaled the actual vote of the last midterms for the entire midterms.
Right. And we're not even at election day.
And this was like a couple of days ago.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, we waited in line about 90 minutes when we voted 2 weeks ago. 2 weeks ago, we did it. Because I was like, look, let's just get it done. We have a day. Let's go.
Yeah, and the problem is I haven't had a day because all the early voting places are just not convenient to me. But when my polling station is open on Tuesday, I could walk there in 3 minutes.
Yeah.
And I've never waited ever. Now, I may this time because the, enthusiasm is so high, but that's fine. I've set aside my entire Tuesday.
Good.
I'm going to go right after breakfast, and if it takes until 7 o'clock to get that vote in, I'm going to vote.
As long as you're in line before 7 o'clock, you can vote.
They have to
That
do
is
it.
a thing you need to know as well. Well,
Yeah.
you know that, but I mean in general.
And,
They can't kick you off the line. They can't, even after 7, if you're in line, you're eligible to vote.
Yep. And sometimes, if there's been problems with voting machines, which there always seems to be in, I don't know, Democratic and, districts where there's a lot of, people of color. Yeah.
Weird.
Doesn't really happen in, Lily White, Cobb County or in Marietta, apparently. But, oh, boy, in Gwinnett, they really have problems with their machines.
Yeah, it's weird.
It's weird. I know. Yeah. Exactly. So anyway, not want to bore the hell out of y'all with this, but
it's important.
It's, oh God, it's so important. Because you see what happened. You look at, we are the laughing stock of the world.
And most of it, it was the apathy of people who didn't vote is what caused this.
Or stupidly voted for Jill Stein. Listen, I would love there to be a third, fourth, and fifth, major party to really work this out, do coalitions and stuff. But we've got two parties.
Yeah.
And if you want to work on getting a third party together, good luck. I hope you can. But right now, the reality is a vote for a third party, takes away a vote from one of the two that are going to win.
Yeah.
And depending on where that third party lies, I mean, a lot of times the libertarians take votes away. That takes votes away from the GOP more often than not. I like that, but in a fair world, I want it to be head-to-head, everyone go red or blue, and,
yeah,
that's just my opinion. Yeah. I would love there to be many, many more parties.
Yeah, it's just we're so entrenched in the way it is
Well, the
now.
problem is that the people who want to do third parties start with the presidency. I think that is exactly the wrong way to do it.
Yeah.
You start at the grassroots and you build up to where you have a constituency, where you have a coalition of, of people that can start, farming the people that are going to move up to represent in the state houses, and then in, in the governor's mansion, and then on to the Senate, the House, and then the presidency. You got to work. You don't start a house by building the roof.
Right.
Right. You got to get some foundation and some walls up first. So anyway, vote, freaking vote.
Vote, please vote.
Okay. Let's talk about something fun.
Yeah.
What did you see recently?
We went and saw the Freddie Mercury biopic, Bohemian Rhapsody.
Bismillah.
No, we will not let you go.
I know.
Yeah.
I didn't get to go. I didn't get a call. Sniff, sniff.
It was a date night. Sorry. I enjoyed it immensely. I've from people I've talked to, they Hollywooded the timeline a little bit at the end to make it a little more dramatic.
From what I understand, the band did not know about Freddie's AIDS diagnosis until 87. And Live Aid was it 84, 85?
85.
So, but they wanted to bring that into the mix, and
yeah, they made it so that he while they were gearing up for Live Aid is when he told them, and in the movie they had not split up, but he had gone to do a solo record, and then
Right, they
that's
were on
the
a
whole Live Aid
hiatus.
thing. But from what I understand, that's not accurate.
No,
either.
no.
They were touring. They had done a couple shows before that,
Right.
and they just were ready for Live Aid.
they kind of compressed and moved times around. And let's put it this way: it was given the blessing of Queen.
Yes.
All three remaining members, even though John Deacon doesn't do anything, he's still a part of the business end of it, and I'm sure that he had, to sign off on this.
Right.
And if you're looking to make a compelling film and you want to tell as much story as possible, if you have to move dates around to put them in the frame, because they didn't want to. One of the reasons I believe why Sacha Baron Cohen left the project is that he wanted to do a Freddie Mercury pick about him, his bisexuality, his all the way through to the end, and the band went, no, we don't want to do that.
Okay. I read that as well.
Yeah.
And I will say, without spoiling, I mean, bits and pieces, that's in there.
Right. I'm talking about Sacha Baron Cohen wanted it to be a Freddie film, and from what I understand, you can
Correct you?
correct me if you wish. This is a Freddie focused Queen film. It's a Queen film.
It's definitely a Freddie centric. It's about Freddie's journey, but it's about Freddie's journey with Queen and how they were a family and how they all, because the other guy, first of all, the thing I will say that knocked me out the most is they could not possibly have found three other guys that looked like the guys in Queen more than these three guys. I mean, the Roger Taylor guy looked okay. The guy playing John Deacon and the guy playing Brian May were frighteningly accurate.
Yeah.
Down to the voice and the hair. I mean, I'm sure the hair was wig, but it was astounding. I think Rami Malek was amazing. I think he did a phenomenal job as Freddy.
Have you started watching Mr. Robot yet?
Yeah, I saw the first two seasons.
Okay, all right, that's right. We talked about that.
Yeah.
That's right. All right, so
So I know
the kid has chops,
right? And when I saw that he picked it up, because now seeing it, I don't see Sacha Baron Cohen quite pulling it off. I don't know. I think it would have been a way different movie.
See, having not seen it yet, I still think Sacha Baron Cohen would have been would have been the best choice. Now, after I see the film, I'm going, you know what?
Yeah,
I still think he would have been good.
he would have been great.
But Rami
Malek really,
because Sacha Baron Cohen has that stature that I just don't. I'm used to Rami Malek being kind of that hunched, inward.
Yes.
Mr.
And
Robot
he's
kid,
not at all.
And he needs, Freddy is open. I mean, he basically just flays him. He is as open and inviting as possible, whereas, his Mr. Robot character was very, inward. Well, very inward.
Very inward.
Right in his own head.
Yeah.
So, but I mean, that's just my prejudice in the matter.
Yeah.
I will definitely
You judge it when you see it.
Okay. I won't be seeing it compliments of Movie Pass. Guys, if you're still hanging on to Movie Pass, why?
Yeah, it's they're
sorry.
Yeah.
It's the main company that started Helios and Matheson, I think. They're looking to spin Movie Pass off so it stops depressing their stock price.
Yeah, if I was going to do another one like that, I would do the AMC one. AMC's got the premiere thing where it's $20 a month and you can do 3 movies a week. And I was like, that's
a week?
A week, not a month. It's a week.
Oh.
Because I was just there. I was like, that's actually not terrible. Still don't go to the movies that much.
I know. See, that's the thing. You're sitting there and you're like, gosh, I've only seen like one. I need to go see. And you feel like pressure to get your money's worth out of it.
Yeah, because that one will make you do that. Because at $9.99, if you see one movie a month, you've basically paid for it.
Right.
At $20 a month,
you got to see a minimum of 2.
A minimum of 2 just to kind of break even.
Right. And of course, with me, I'm the guy that tries to, rent and return my Netflix discs as quickly as possible. So I'm paying literally 82 cents a movie to rent them.
Right.
I'm plowing through them as fast as possible.
Right.
So, and when I first got on Movie Pass, I mean, good grief, I think in the first 10 days I probably saw 7 films. I watched everything.
We only used it a handful of times anyway
Yeah.
when we had it. So like I said, we were talking before the show, and they kind of it was very strange. I get emails saying, we're going to reinstate your unlimited, and all you have to do is not opt out. And then I went to look again, and they offered me. I got another email saying we're going to let you do unlimited for 2 months for this amount of price. And I was like, well, I thought I was, and then I went and checked my Movie Pass, and it was inactive.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, I'm done. Let's not even bother.
They're such a mess. If they had started off being $3 a month for $9, $9.99, that's still a great deal.
Yeah.
They shot for the
you
moon.
can do whatever you want.
Exactly. They went
anarchy.
way too, and I honestly thought Movie Pass had before they launched had made deals with these theater chains,
Right,
and we're getting either discounted tickets or something to boost sales, because I mean the income from tickets is not not all that great for the theaters. It's the concessions.
Yeah.
So if you get more people in the theater, even if you're accepting a lower ticket price, you make a lot more money on concessions. Only to find out that no, they didn't do any of that.
No,
they just said
hey,
no,
we're going to do this thing, and AMC said, no, you're not.
Yeah.
no, you're not.
It's just anyway.
But back to Bohemian Rhapsody.
Oh yeah, that thing.
I absolutely loved it. I thought it was a beautiful story. The way they did it was amazing. Like they focused on the music a lot. I don't know how they did some of it, because I don't know if they were able to get isolated vocals.
Yes.
Or if they
I watched the little thing. I mean, Queen's fully on board, so all the masters,
right?
Because
there were bits and pieces that I was like, that sounds like Freddie.
And I'm guessing that not only was it the masters to the quote unquote the record that was released, but in the vault there's takes that weren't used that are a little bit different.
Right.
You can use those, and it seems more natural.
Well, it's Freddie, and it's a little bit different.
Right,
it's
exactly.
not the record one that everyone knows
exactly.
about. Yeah.
So you get Freddie,
so it
but
was
you get it.
So well done with that. The production design was amazing. His outfits, you've seen, like the Live Aid outfit where he's in the white tank
iconic.
top, and it's perfect. Like I went back and watched the clip of them on Live Aid, and I mean, it's perfect. It's the white stage, and down to there. I want to watch it again, because there were like 2 guys in like the scaffolding on stage right that were like they kept cutting to in the movie. I was like, I wonder if those guys were there,
actually there.
Were really there. And I'm sure they were. They really did a phenomenal job.
They did a James Cameron Titanic level of recreation of the live
pretty
Live
much.
Aid stage.
It was really funny. It was like I found myself like choked up for the last third of the movie, just the way it all comes together.
No one's ever going to play a 6-minute song on the radio.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
We'll see about that.
There is an amazing Easter egg cameo in that I will not spoil for you. I really want to, but there's they use so much of the music.
Good. Well, that's what it's about.
It's what it's about. It was, I was blown away at how.
See,
much.
what I would have rather, I mean, there's a lot of history there. I would have rather it taken it all the way through till the last recording sessions, but I think they didn't want to end on a down note.
They didn't. No.
And let's face it, rock critics, if it's not at number 1, it's in the top 3. See that Queen's set at Live Aid is the best live performance in the history of music.
Right.
They rate that as just amazing. And if you want to go out on a high note, holy crap, you couldn't do better than that.
And that's what they do. And I mean, again, not to spoil, they show the end of the movie is almost that entire set, if not the entire set. The last 20. The movie is 2 hours and 15 minutes long.
Oh, nice. Okay.
So it's not it almost does feel like they skip over a lot of stuff, but they go the entire career,
Well, I mean, with such an iconic performance, I think you want to include as much of that as possible to burnish the Queen legacy, because they get played on classic rock, but they're not revered as much as your Led Zeppelins and your basically your non-Beatles and non-Stones bands.
Yeah.
I would say they're kind of in the B tier, and really they should be in the A tier.
Yeah.
In my
Absolutely.
opinion. I mean, the music is there. I mean, their front man just
is a legend.
Doesn't get
iconic legend.
doesn't get as much respect as I think is should be. Now, of course, that's here in England. Holy crap!
Oh, gods.
They will. Yeah, I mean, yeah. All Brian May just could belch into a microphone and release it, and they'd be like, "It's someone from Queen."
Well, a few years ago, I want to say, I don't remember what year it was. They were touring with Paul Rodgers from Bad Company, and I saw them here in Atlanta, and I basically went to watch Brian May play guitar, and it was worth the entire thing. It was kind of neat because what they did was it was almost like you almost got 3 shows, because it was Queen.
Right.
And then they did a bunch of Bad Company songs, and then they also did All Right Now from Free, which was also Paul Rodgers.
Exactly.
So it was a really wonderful thing.
Well, it's kind of like now that Fleetwood Mac, what the fuck are you doing? They kicked out Lindsey Buckingham. Okay, and they brought in Neil Finn from Crowded House.
Okay.
So now they do Don't Dream It's Over.
Yeah.
And they brought in Campbell, I can't remember his first name, from the Heartbreakers.
Oh, okay.
And now they do Free Falling in a Fleetwood Mac set. I'm like, well, okay. It's like I was waiting for so long for Christine McVie to come out of retirement and join the band, and then she did.
Yeah.
And I'm like, it's there, the classic lineup. Say what you want. I like Fleetwood Mac, always have.
Yeah.
I was hoping they'd come around and the tickets would be less than $1 million, because some of these legacy
that's
rock
the problem
bands,
with those things.
I would love to see the Stones. I'm not a huge fan, but I would like to see a Stones show. But when the lowest price tickets are like $149, I'm like, nosebleed for
yeah.
Go fuck yourself.
Yeah.
I'll watch a DVD. And, they're going on tour, and now it's not the classic lineup anymore. But I love Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers, and I really love Crowded House.
Yeah.
I probably won't go to the show,
right?
But
yeah,
it's
it did work for Queen though, the way they did it. It was
really well.
That's
not Freddie, you're out of the band. No, that was not the situation.
No.
It was
a celebration almost.
Exactly.
And of course they did it. The only way they could possibly do it was they did when they did Bohemian Rhapsody. When
they played the track.
They played the track and the video of like Live Killers and just all this Freddie stuff. And it was amazing. It was everything it needed to be.
Freddie.
Yeah, so you definitely need to see the movie. I think you will really
there's
enjoy
no
it.
doubt I'm gonna. Yeah. That's a see in the theater film.
Yes, because the sound mix is amazing. See it in like a good Dolby.
I'll probably wait a couple of weeks and then go at a very late showing during the week, so I can pick my seat and be almost alone in the theater, because that happens. That happens. I
wouldn't wait too long. I don't see this sticking around for like 6 months.
How was your crowd when you were in there?
It was pretty good. But I still don't. I don't know how it did this weekend. But I don't see it being in the theater for 3 months. I really.
Oh
don't.
No! I'm talking about 3 weeks.
Yeah, maybe.
I didn't say 3 months.
Yeah.
Oh hell no! I can't wait that long.
No.
Anyway, anything interesting you're watching on the small screen?
What are we watching? We finally tapped into Matt Groening's Disenchant.
Oh, I've watched the first episode and that's it, and I'm okay.
Second episode definitely takes a leap, because I was the same way. We watched the first one, I was like, this is okay, and then the second one, I found myself laughing like Simpsons laughing. Like they finally
Simpsons first 10 seasons laughing.
Yes. I mean, because it's so totally that exact humor. I mean, down to. The names of the shops in the town are funny. That those gags are all there, and they start picking up.
That's good.
Yeah.
I've been watching a good number of shows because I've been working on projects here in the office, and I always have the TV running. I have started and have finished the first season of Ozark.
I really want to see that.
And it's kind of Breaking Bad-ish. Not as good as Breaking Bad, but it's pretty good.
Yeah.
And this is Jason Bateman in a complete drama role. And he's not heavy. He's not a heavy with the drama, but he pulls it off.
Right.
You know, he's fine. You know, sometimes when he says certain lines, I kind of get that exasperated Michael Bluth vibe out of it. But, you know, obviously this is a whole nother thing. Got to shake that off.
Plus, also, it was filmed here, and
has Laura Linney.
And it has a lot of people we know in it.
I know.
A lot of friends of ours.
I'm 4 episodes away from Pat's episode.
Oh, I didn't even realize Pat was in it. I know Suhaila did an episode, I think.
Did she?
I think so.
I haven't seen her yet.
Yeah,
but,
there's a bunch of our friends in it. And also, the bar that they film it in used to be called the Little River Grill, and I used to play there.
Oh, is that the one that's on the Chattahoochee?
Yeah, it's on a lake. It's on Lake Lanier? Not Lake Lanier. It's on one of the lakes.
Yeah. Right.
And there, I played outside and inside that place a bunch of times. So,
All right.
and then they closed it, and the production company bought it and started making the show there.
Oh, interesting.
Yep.
All right. So yeah, that's a decent one.
We also started watching something very, very strange that we don't know if we like or not.
Ooh. Okay. Hit me.
It is a show on Netflix called The Curious Creations of Christine McConnell. And she was like this pinup model baker, which is real from what I understand, and it's like a goth baking show with like some of the characters are like Henson puppets, and like one of them's this big werewolf thing. And
is it a scripted show?
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
It's like a Pee-wee's Playhouse kind of vibe. Adult gothic thing that's a cooking show, but the problem is it's not enough of any of it to be she's okay. She's a little stiff, and she's doing kind of a Morticia Addams kind of thing.
It sounds to me like this is part of the, dear God, we're Netflix and we need a lot of original content. Oh, we can do this for, $40,000 an episode. Sure. Let's see. Maybe it'll be a weird hit.
I think it was more like she's got, X amount of million followers on Instagram or YouTube, and let's
so it's
do something.
Kind of like haters back off with that Miranda Sings character.
I guess, yeah.
I watched every episode of that, and some of it was pretty painful. But it was okay.
I couldn't. But the puppet stuff is cool, and they're going for like an Addams Family kind of thing, and the puppets are funny. There's like a roadkill raccoon puppet that she brought back to life, and a big giant walk around werewolf looking thing.
Sounds like something that Ass Catter and Hare would love.
Yeah, exactly. And there's like a hairless cat who was like an Egyptian god or something, and they all live in this house, and it's interesting, but there's not enough. If it's a cooking show, there's not enough of the cooking, and so we're kind of like, okay, we'll keep watching it to see where it goes, if it gets any better.
Yeah.
It's interesting.
Yeah, it holds your attention.
Yeah, for sure.
One of the Netflix shows that has risen to the top of the social media chatterverse is The Haunting of Hill House.
Everyone's talking about it.
Yeah, and
which is an old, I want to say 60s or 70s movie.
Well, no, it's
50s.
It's based on a book that I believe was published in 1959 by Shirley Jackson. It's been made into 2 films. Previously.
I know there were movies.
Both of them I think were called The Haunting, and then they turned this into a 10 part? Yeah, I think it's a 10-part miniseries.
Mm-hmm.
And I liked it. It could have used another rewrite.
Really, everyone's like freaking out about it.
Yeah, well, there's some creepy ass stuff in there.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they don't have very many of the boo type stuff. It's just you turn around and your mouth drops. You're like, they have that horror that wells up in you rather than shocking. You turn around and the ghost is there or whatever.
The jump scares.
Exactly. No, not too many jump scares. There's one that oh, good grief! Thank God I didn't have a full bladder. Man, was not expecting a jump scare at that particular scene, and man, it got me. And the ending got treacly, and I'd give it a C+.
Okay,
C
interesting.
plus, B minus. You know, I enjoyed it, but you know, after the fourth episode, I went, yeah, this is not one I want to own.
Oh yeah.
This is not to own. Although we're rapidly coming to the point where no one's going to own anything. It's just going to be out there.
It's getting there. Yeah.
Problem is that they can, you know,
It can go away.
as Netflix can, you know, make it available for streaming, they can take it away. And if you love something really a lot, then you need to to own it.
I just bought Solo on disc just for.
So did I.
Oh yeah. Because it's been out for a few weeks, and normally I'm like day one, and for some reason I just got away from it, and I was like, no, I need to. I really did like that movie, and I really a lot, and you know, for me, I have to be part of the collection. So
if they officially release the Star Wars holiday Christmas special,
I would buy it.
You'd buy it,
of course,
because it's Star Wars, and
right?
It has a few things in it that don't make you want to vomit.
Not many,
not many. You know, hey, but you get Starship, man.
Yeah, we
rocking
at the aquarium. A friend of mine, 2 years ago, like the year I started, he wanted to do a Cinco de Mayo party, but he's like, we want to do a Cinco de Mayo / May the 4th be with you taco party for the whole department. I was like, that's awesome. And the first year we watched, we had like the soundtrack going, and we had tacos, and it was super fun. You know, the management was all on board. And last year we tried to watch. We did it in one of the rooms that had a TV, and we couldn't get the stupid thing to watch. And because I was like, some people have never actually seen the movie, and we can watch some of it. And then somebody had the idea of watching the holiday special, and I was like, look, I have it if we want to watch it. They're like, no, it would be funny. I was like, have you ever seen it? Well, no, I've just heard it. Look,
this is something you
want
to
no idea.
Yeah, you want to watch yourself first.
I still remember when you got it, and you're like, oh, I'm gonna watch the holiday special. I was like, great. And then you called me back, and you're like, you didn't tell me this thing was 2 hours long. I was like,
yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I literally thought it was
30 minutes,
a
right?
30-minute thing, you know,
No.
22 with commercials, and then it turns out to be 2 hours. I'm like, I can't know.
No, the whole thing's actually up on YouTube now. You know,
Oh,
I think they periodically pull it off, but it's up there.
It is what it is.
Speaking of that, speaking of Star Wars, bunch of stuff happened in the last couple of weeks.
Yeah, like what?
Well, there was a lot of rumors that Kathleen Kennedy was going to be out. That she was going to either step down or they were going to get rid of her.
No,
and that turned out to be false. She signed another at least 3 years, if not 5, with Lucasfilm.
All right, good.
And they also announced, I don't know if we've talked about this, the live action show for they're doing a Disney app thing like Netflix, like everybody, which of course I'm a sucker. I'm going to have to get into because they're doing like I've said before, they're doing another season of the Clone Wars cartoon.
Right.
They've got another animated thing, I think, coming up, but they've also finally announced the Jon Favreau's live action television series.
And it's going to be for the app?
It's going to be for the app. 10 episodes with like $100 million budget, and it's called The Mandalorian.
Oh.
And the shot is of a Boba Fett.
Now, maybe this is Lucasfilm's way of saying, we're not going to do a film just yet. We're going to do a series, and then if it's really good, maybe we can lead it into a film.
I think they said, we're not doing it. Kathleen Kennedy basically said there's no plans for Boba Fett movie right now. So that's going away. Well, let's do this. Let's get some Mandalorian.
People, don't puss out just because Solo made millions of dollars instead of millions and millions of dollars.
Yes. Again, I contend they're like, well, it was the lowest grossing, Star Wars movie by this far, or it had the least return on its investment. I was like, yeah, because you made it fucking twice. You made it and then you scrapped it and made it again. That's why it was so expensive, and that's why.
It came 5 months after another Star Wars film.
Yes,
I mean, yes, there are certain people in the Star Wars universe that if you put out a brand new Star Wars theatrical film every month, they'd go every month. That's not everybody.
Yeah,
you're gonna oversaturate, and it sounds to me like really Star Wars needs to be an annual thing.
Yeah,
some exceptions maybe, but finish out the second trilogy.
Yeah, the saga,
for lack of a better term, and then move on to something else. Don't start another.
Supposedly, there's like 6 more movies in the works, like a trilogy that they're giving Rian Johnson to do, and supposedly they're giving a trilogy or more to the guys who do Game of Thrones. That's what I've heard.
That's fine.
And they're like disparate. They're not
Right.
Skywalker. They're not.
Yes. Well, the Skywalker thing can be referenced, sure, but
Yeah.
don't
Connect the universe up.
Don't
but
make it
central.
Exactly.
Let's finish that story.
Let's go to the Outer Rim territories. There's some shit going on out there.
At this point, yeah, exactly. Or like the underbelly. There was always talk of like the seedy underworld of Coruscant and all the the Outer Rim.
All right.
stuff.
I'd say stay off of the planets we've been to previously. I mean, Coruscant, obviously, it's the center where the Senate is, so okay, maybe you can do some intrigue there. But Naboo, no. Gungans, fuck no.
No. My hope for the Mandalorian, and I hope. And I'm not hopeful that it's going to happen.
It's told entirely in flashback as Boba Fett is being slowly digested over thousands.
Yeah, it all takes place in Boba Fett's head as he
exactly.
goes on. And you could do anything. No, my hope is that it's a female protagonist. I don't, from the still shot that they released, I don't believe it is. It doesn't look. It's a very masculine form.
Hey, tell that to was it
Gwendolyn Christie? Yeah, I'm hoping they do that. And if they don't, I know a guy named Dave Filoni is directing some of the episodes. Dave Filoni is responsible for Clone Wars and Rebels.
Oh, okay.
And I am hoping, and I've been saying this since day one, sneak a Rebels. All the actors who played did the voices on Rebels could have passed for their characters. They could pass over. And there's an actress named I don't know how to pronounce it exactly, Tia Sircar, who's in I believe she's Indian. She played Sabine, who was the Mandalorian on Rebels.
Okay.
And if you just colored her hair and got her in the suit, she would look perfect.
But just keep in mind that just because you're a voice actor doesn't mean you are a live film actor.
Oh, she was on The Flash. She was on
The Good Place. I'm talking about in general, not her specifically, but
right.
I mean, can you see Harry Shearer, acting in some of the stuff that he does voices for? Probably not. Although he's a fine actor, but you know what I mean. It's
right. But I think they could pull it off. At least just cameos. Yeah. I don't know when the time period is. I don't know if because the Mandalorians have been around for thousands of years and blah blah blah. Right. So it might not have anything to do with it.
Now here's the thing. I dig the idea of having all these, even the new trilogies and stuff happen. Some of it happened during the same time period as the saga, but kind of like how Batman v Superman and stuff like that. You see events from the other side.
Yeah,
it's like, oh, I know that the Death Star blew up. Have you heard the Death Star blew up? Oh my gosh! And then so you know where it places in time, and you could see what the galaxy was doing during the saga. And that's an interesting concept.
This past Christmas, Courtney bought me a book that I wanted. That was called Star Wars. It was a 40th anniversary book. It was called The Star Wars from a Certain Point of View, and it was all short stories. But it was I didn't realize. I just thought it was a book of short stories. It turns out it's short stories that chronologically follow the movie, but it's from different points of view. So it starts out the first story was Captain Antilles, and the last sentence of the thing is him getting choked to death by Vader, and then it cuts, and then it's a story about a Jawa, and then it's a story about R5D4, and it's a story about a Tusken Raider, and then it's a bunch of stories that take place in the Mos Eisley Cantina, and it's really cool. It was really cool. There was one dud in there, but there was one amazing one.
Is it fan fiction? It's not sanctioned.
It is sanctioned. Absolutely. It's
wonderful.
Published. It's a Disney book, and they put it out, so it's technically canon.
Technically canon.
Yeah.
Oh, all right. Good deal.
And like Will Wheaton wrote a story, and Ben Ackert wrote a story. Will Wheaton and Paul Dini wrote a story. So it's really good. So to what you're saying, that would be a really cool.
Did you see that text thing? Will Wheaton was like, we get it. shut up, Wesley. It's over. I'm sick of it. Stop it. And then Patrick Stewart, shut up, Wesley.
No, shut up, Will.
Shut up, Will.
Yeah, he's it's officially over. I'm not going to respond. I'll block you immediately if you do it. Shut up, Will. The greatest Twitter exchange of all
It's
time.
like, I dare you to block me. I'm
Yeah.
Patrick Stewart.
I'm Patrick.
I was the poop emoji, goddammit.
Yes, exactly.
I've got, speaking of the potential for poop, do you remember Penny Dreadful? Do you remember that series? Did you watch that?
I did not.
It's not too bad.
Yeah.
It has Eva Green, and there we go with that.
There you go. Yeah, that's enough, right?
But
there.
they have resurrected at least the series name. Apparently, they're doing a kind of an anthology situation here, kind of like True Detective, where the next season was really, really terrible. But it was, they're doing a third one, and it looks.
I heard that. Yeah,
it looks better. The casting is brilliant. I'm still skeptical because 2 was just so bad. It was bad even compared to the brilliance of 1. But it's just terrible. But they're doing it. It's called Penny Dreadful City of Angels.
Okay.
And it takes place in the 30s.
Okay.
So we'll see. I'm curious to see how that turns out, and if they try to bring in some of the disparate characters from the first one, because that took place in I think Victorian time. So if they're in there, they're either immortal or very old at that point.
Don't know,
but who knows. Another thing that I have finally gotten to, because everyone was talking about it, and I love her "Fuck Me Ray Bradbury" video. Rachel Bloom's Crazy Ex-Girlfriend.
Yeah.
Wow. That is an impressive show in that it has at minimum of 2 new musical numbers every episode.
Yep.
And I'd say a good 2/3 of them are good just as music.
Yeah.
Not as here's a funny little schlocky thing that it's actually, and they run through all the styles, techno, country, power ballad, whatever. And I just started season 3, and that shit's getting dark.
Is it?
Well, because it's, do you know this concept at all?
Kind of.
Well, basically, this girl runs into an old boyfriend that she had at camp in New York City when he was there visiting, and she suddenly, something goes off in her head, and she quits her job and moves to West Covina, California, which is almost like moving to Fresno. Fresno? Who goes to Fresno? And she basically sets out to make him hers.
Okay.
And she gets a group of people at her work, and they kind of help her out, and she's a little kooky and a little weird, and she makes some bad choices, but you like her. But by season 3, you realize mental issues.
She is crazy.
They're not going to make it like she's kind of cuckoo crazy. No, she's got some, she's not a bad person, but she has some mental issues, and they talk about a lot of stuff in there that you just don't talk about. Subject matter like, ooh, that's rough. And so season 3 is off to I think I'm on episode 6, and it's very interesting. It's clever. I mean, oh my God, some of the jokes in there are just, they're brilliant.
Well, the girl who plays young Rachel,
right,
is an actress named Ava Akers.
Well, Ava Akers is featured very heavily so far in season 3.
Yep.
She popped in every once in a very seldom while in the first 2 seasons, but now
She's daughter of Tim Akers, who wrote the intro to this podcast song, and who I was in a band with for many, many years. So,
well, to me, Ava will always be the girl from Better Off Ted?
No, she won't, because that's her sister.
Oh, that's her sister.
Isabella. Yeah.
Isabella. Oh, well.
Bella is the older one.
Hold it. There's another kid? I thought there was only one. Oh,
no, there's 2 of them. There's Isabella and Ava. And any movie you watch, any animated movie you watch, if you look at additional voices, you'll see their freaking names.
You'll see an Akers here.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Well, anyway, Crazy Ex-Girlfriend, good. I'm watching season 3. Season 4 started about a month ago. I'm letting them build up on my DVR because I'm racing to get through season 3 so I can start watching on my DVR. And this is the final season
Of
Crazy Ex-Girlfriend.
Oh, is it?
Yeah,
okay.
Well, I mean, I'm guessing that it has some good production value. I'm not sure the ratings are quite huge, but at a certain point, how far can you take this?
Exactly.
And with season 3 getting as dark as it is, they've got to go through the darkness and, of course, have at least a satisfactory ending. I will be bummed if, in the end, I'm cured and I'm happy. Like, no, that's not how it works. It's like, I'm managing, I'm okay, but, we'll see how it ends. But Rachel Bloom is just phenomenal.
Yeah, I heard, before the show ever happened, I heard a bunch of her songs from YouTube, and they were amazing. Yeah.
Have you seen Fuck Me Ray Bradbury?
Yeah.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah.
I mean, that's pretty graphic and pretty awesome.
Yep.
And from what I understand, Ray Bradbury, before he died, saw it.
Okay. Why wouldn't he have?
The guy's in a wheelchair. He's 90 years old.
Yeah.
It's not like he's surfing YouTube and found it. Someone had to have shown it to him.
Right.
And there is a photograph of him being shown the video, but you can't see the screen. So you're like, that's the rumor that he did get to see it. So hopefully he got a chuckle out of it. So that's good. And that video had good production values as well. I think those videos are what landed her the TV series.
Yeah, I think so.
And I will say, with the jokes that are in this show and the subject matter at times, it definitely would not have lasted or even been greenlit on the 4 big networks.
No, CW.
This is CW.
Yeah.
And they went out on a limb. I've noticed now that on FX, after 10, they don't bleep or anything. It's fuck. And that finally has broken down. Oh, yeah. I'm watching the follow-up series, I guess, to Sons of Anarchy called Mayans.
Yeah.
And fucks galore.
Wow.
Yeah. So, hey, it's after 10. They're not broadcast, so they could have said fuck at 7 p.m. if they wanted to.
Yeah.
But they used the broadcast standards, which means,
Well, that's because of advertisers. Advertisers are not going to...
Right. Advertisers and, the little kids,
the family hour. And
exactly.
all that.
Which, let's face it, the family hour ain't the family hour anymore. Kids, if they eat together, they scatter and watch their own screens.
Barely anyone's watching anything on... at the time it's airing.
Exactly. They're off, little Johnny's in his bedroom by himself watching hardcore porn. But he's staying away from those TV shows that have an F word in them.
Right.
I mean, yeah, exactly. The future is, it's over. We're lost. Speaking of, things being lost, hey, did I mention that you should vote?
Yes.
Yes. Vote. Tuesday, which if you're listening to this the day it comes out, this is the day.
Go
now.
Listen to this in line if you have to. Just go vote.
And if you're listening to this after Tuesday, please warm yourself knowing that you did the right thing, or set yourself on fire if you didn't. But if you do vote on Tuesday, I will give you a reward. The reward will be
medication time. Medication time.
We ran out of time. I will tell you next week.
The 9 Billion Names of Pod was conceived, written, and performed by Michael Reed and Dan Bauman, with Abdul Benny Hassan as the sound of splintering wood. Research, transportation, and exasperated looks by Courtney Lohner. Technical assistance by Cubase, Pro Tools, Skynet, QLab, Deep Thought, Big Brother, and Eddie, your shipboard computer. Financial consideration provided by the Wayne Foundation, Stark Industries, the Piranha Brothers, and Lexfoot. Legal counsel by the offices of Howard and Fine. Here's an idea. Go vote.
Yes.
Our intro music was written by Tim Akers. This podcast was sponsored by Deep Shag Records and is a production of Audio Primate. Throw us a couple stars on iTunes, why don't you? Listen, watch on YouTube. Listen on SoundCloud. Stream us on Stitcher. Like us on Facebook. Follow us on Twitter. Listen to us on, what the hell is that? Spotify. Or email us, comlink@billionpod.com. Until this happens again, I'm Dan Bauman.
I'm Vody McVoderson.
Allons-y.
Audio Primate.